Bill, didn't you invent a surgical tool?
Yeah.
Yeah. He also invented 2 surgical tools, Bill. Didn't you invent a tool?
I thought it bought that.
Christopher, Christos, so nice to see you.
Yes, good to be back. For this meeting,
How goes it? Everything okay with you?
Everything's fine.
All right.
Well, so it's good.
Homeowners association and they want to plant some other along the shoreline and I said that your office may be able to help.
Yeah, we're gonna put it out. That'd be really helpful. So.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna mute it.
No box of quick ones.
I did not see any of them come in today, so. Yeah.
Okay, right.
So.
Okay.
Hello.
You can go.
Okay, turn on your microphones and I'll call the meeting to order since it's 4:01. So we'll start the meeting. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to anyone who's listening online.
Thanks.
Jim, I had a brief note from Stephen Phillips that he was gonna start coming to these.
Yes, I saw him on the street, so if he does come, I'll go to the back.
No, I just didn't know him.
It's my understanding he will, whoops.
Okay, but you'll be here too.
Well, yeah, that's, yes, but he will definitely be responsible.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so let's go right to the minutes, which were sent out. Any issues need to be discussed? Anybody want to move them? I will move them. Second,
I'll second that. Joe, second that.
okay, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, wonderful. Let's go right to septic. Jacob sent a report and there is a copy of that report up front here. Jacob, go ahead.
Sure, okay, great. The first one is just letting you know that I got confirmation from the Hall family in terms of their continuous maintenance contract. So that's one we've already discussed with the advanced ETU that went in. So that one's all set, and I'll be giving him a certificate of compliance. Second one is Sam Smith's Boatyard and Blue Mingo Grill. Very high capacity system there. They have 2 septic tanks and a grease trap. And those were all empty while I was there. I had a lengthy conversation with the owner, and he said that they used to only get it pumped once, maybe twice a year. But he's up that to like 3 or 4 times a year, which I advised him was a good idea because if they put too much there down the bottom of the hill, will start stressing out the system up on the hill. 132 Pegs Bay, there's a holding tank, no issues there. Otsego Sailing Club, same thing, well maintained, no issues, had a nice tour. 104 and 112 Steamboat Lane, these are adjacent properties, it's the same family, even though there's 2 different names there. They share a leach field, which was installed just a few years ago, and both systems were in good shape. 313 County Highway 31, Locos family, very nice woman, Barbara. I talked to again today. That system looks good, and she gets that pumped out very regularly. 6740 Route 80, the ETU system, it had been pumped out and serviced just prior to my inspection, so there was no issues to note there. Then 6691 Route 80. So I conducted an inspection there. It's just a holding tank, but they're anticipating a property sale. They do not have a certificate of compliance that is recent enough, so I did tell them that it would need to be fully pumped out, and then I would re-inspect to make sure that full inside of the interior looks good prior to the sale.
Were they amenable to that?
Yes, yes, and some of this realtor stuff, they're like, when they contact you, they want it done yesterday because they're looking to take it out. Similar situation with the septic system at 6870. That's also an anticipated sale. Same thing. So I'm going to be going back Monday to re-inspect that because they are going to get it pumped. Everything looked good when I inspected, but again, they need to get the full system pumped out in order to get that taken care of for the property transfer. And I also discussed with the potential owner, because he's interested in making some changes to the property, not in terms of building a larger house or anything, sort of interior changes. So I'm going to be discussing with him, what he has planned and whether the house has capacity for that. 104 Memory Lane. I went to this one a while ago, but I believe the only inspections that were done in the past were just the pump tank and the leach field. They did not know they had a separate septic tank, but according to the plans, they do. It might be under a paved section of their driveway. So that's going to take some more time. I'm going to go back with metal detector, which the water plant has a metal detector, and we plan for the fall. That's probably a full application to get that taken care of. Yes, so we do have a few that have some more substantial issues. So 6892, I had a discussion with a homeowner, and she noted that when they had it pumped last year, that there was a large excess of water past what they would have used in the system when they had it pumped out. And I informed her that that probably meant we had something we had to address, and that we would need to look into that further. When I looked at the home, it's basically a pump tank, which is right next to the house, right near the lake, and then a very steep embankment, and then 3,000 gallon holding tanks that are up there. So I talked to her and told her that they would not pass inspection. She's very amenable to this because she's basically paying to pump water. And I looked at 2 of the tanks earlier this week, the pump tank and the first holding tank, and it just looks like water. It's probably very little actual waste in there. It's just getting infiltration from somewhere, which I'm guessing is the pump tank. So I told her that we would need to start and at very least pump out the first holding tank and the pump tank. So we need to get a full picture of where that's moving in, because she obviously has something she has. 102 Badger Lane, that was a holding tank. That tank looked perfectly fine, but the high water alarm was not functional. So I just emailed back the owner today and let him know that it would be deemed a failure, but he would need to correct that. It kind of seemed like maybe it stopped working at some point in time and they shut it off because the switch was just shut off. But when you turned it on, the power indicator still was indicating power was going back. The holding tank did not have a lot into it, so I do not think this is like an imminent risk of overflowing into the lake, but obviously that's not proper, needs to be addressed. And the very last one I discussed with Alan this morning. It's a sort of a non-compliance issue, and I'm going to give you an update perhaps in 2 weeks, but I need to discuss this further with the mayor and the village attorney.
So it's more of a legal issue and you'll report back.
Yes, I just want to make sure everything's done proper.
Okay. Any questions on the report?
Other than the last one.
Yes.
The impression seems to be, people are cooperative, interested in what you're doing and. Willing to adhere to what we're after. Is that a misimpression or is that?
It's not a misimpression. That's certainly not everybody, but I feel like typically there is value in me having extended conversation with homeowners, and if they're there, we usually do end up talking sometimes if it's like an hour or so. So I see a lot of opinions change, and there is some dissatisfaction with the fee. And I try to make sure they understand the value of it in terms of the lake, the value of it for their own property. And there's some misconception that this is just feeding the budgets of the village of Cooperstown. So I correct some of those misconceptions. Before I forget, would it be okay if when you approve these, is it okay with the 2 properties that are being considered for property transfers? If I go out and do the inspection beyond what I've done now, the bottom of the tank and everything looks fine, it gets pumped out, can I go ahead and issue them a certificate of compliance?
Yes.
based on my
Does anyone have, I mean, I think we should put it in the minutes, but yes.
I'll certainly inform you of the outcome and everything, but I just know that some of these things are trying.
Let's just make sure all members, you okay with that, Paul?
I was just gonna say, I'll move it.
Okay,
We should make it a motion.
Yep. Bill, you okay? Second, okay, all in favor? Any opposed?
It's a lot less bureaucratic.
Well, while we're making motions, I think we should go on record. I think it's brainless, but that the septic system inspections need to happen. And the village needs to enforce the regulation.
Okay. Are you making a motion?
Yes.
And tell me that again, please.
That the septic systems need to be inspected and the village needs to enforce the regulation authorizing those inspections.
And I believe that's the village's stand, so.
Yeah,
There's our law against
Convey that.
Okay, moved, I'll second, all in favor? Any opposed?
Is this appropriate during this report, Jay, to bring up the discussion that I had with Ellen in my email and that she responded, I think yesterday, and we looked at that. I had an idea, maybe I should have had the idea. I had the idea that maybe we could tighten up our management of these inspections by enlisting the county to require evidence of inspection in real estate closings. It looks like that's not that easily able to be accomplished. It would require probably new forms and as Jim is just saying, a lot more bureaucracy than maybe worth the candle. So just as what Jacob described, he's going to do to make these visits and around the time of property transfers. I'd rather settle in. My proposal is that we kind of work through the protocols that are emerging from your work, and then see at the end of a certain time what else we might have to do, or are we just getting a good accounting with the way you've managed this? So I don't want to press on with an idea that may not be worth worth it.
Okay, do we want to send some sort of message to the realtors? You did this, what, 3 years ago? I don't know that it had a big impact.
And realtors turnover quite regularly.
I know.
Yeah, I think it's time to do it again if it's been 3 years.
Okay. I mean, it essentially said, here's the requirement, please, please abide by the requirement, but I don't know that that's,
I'm sorry,
go ahead, no.
I would recommend even, because again, I've talked to numerous people who seem like they are not aware of it, so it could literally just be part of the like spring prep. Send letters to homeowners, we're also sending a letter on behalf of the WSC saying, make sure that's in account. But why not do it annually, it's.
I think you have to be careful using the word required unless you have laws or rules to back it up. Because I can picture a closing, someone drives up from New York to close on their house and someone, lawyers flipping through pages and say, oh, I see you're missing the
Yeah.
approval on this one. You'll have to come back next week. And then, I mean, I would encourage them, Jake just said every or Paul, every year, I think. Maybe they think it's gonna become a requirement, but I would encourage them. I don't know what other people think, but
I think
if you're not willing to back it
it's
up.
in the law now, it's in the law,
Is it in the
So
law?
the
I
way
would
the law
remind
states that,
them, remind them of the law.
okay,
Yeah, right, remind them.
essentially, if they do not have had a pump out and a certificate of compliance within a certain window, then it is required at the time of transfer.
Do we think, I mean, I don't know, I'm making it now, do we think that is being done at closings right now? There's a laundry list, like I know if you have a toilet tank, you have to have an oil tank certified, it's not.
Right.
Is a septic,
I don't know.
I think the law requires the inspection. The point, let's just use the example here of the one recalcitrant. With an employee. Here, if they're in the process of conveying their property. And we cannot, and we do not have evidence that our law requires. I mean, I think the banker, everybody, the closing, everybody should be concerned about. it. Because they, why would the banker want to convey the funds for closing when the property is problematic?
yeah, I understand, right, I mean, if I was a buyer, I'd be concerned about whether I have a liability. Okay, I agree, I understand.
I know the town is-
No, but we should remind though, yeah.
Yeah, and in Suffolk County, they cannot get mortgage unless they get the clean, certificate for the septic system.
I know the town of Springfield has presume it's a law that there has to be an inspection, it has to pass inspection before there can be a deed transferred. They had an individual who was basically buying a piece of property so he could get a place on the, put his boat in. And that hadn't gone through, but he came over and wanted to get his boat in and they wouldn't let him do it. He was really unhappy about it, but because I know they're serious about it and they enforce it, so that's something I know it works there.
That's very good.
I'm wondering how all this relates into if someone purchasing a piece of property that you're taking concern about, and it's done through owner financing with no lawyer. How is that gonna work?
I don't know.
You still have to get the certificate for
I mean, you
occupancy.
still have to get, a certificate of occupancy, and it is in our law that no matter what you do, yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna be transferred, but.
yeah.
Right, and again, as much as possible in doing education. Seeing people to recognize that I buy your property on the lake if you're gonna be swimming in the cesspool.
Right, that's right. Okay. Thank you. All set with the report?
Yes,
I think it shows the, as I said earlier to Jake, it shows the importance of our inspection process. And how well it's being done. So more to follow on that. The JV septic report, I sent it out to everyone today. We have interest and support from Jacob, from the mayor. And I want to make sure that we are comfortable with the report. And the next step, I think, as Joe outlined in the last meeting, was that we would make a recommendation to the Village of Cooperstown Board for them to support this effort. I'd like to do that today since the board meeting is next week. That's why I sent it out yesterday. You know, that's not much time for review, but
So to discuss the proposal, I mean, I think that's where this group has a real valuable role to play. Any thoughts on the nature and extent of the proposal? Certainly as a starting point for the continuing education of Jake and others who are going to be involved in inspections. I hadn't heard that Ellen had reviewed the proposal, but if you're saying she is supportive of that, that's great.
I certainly don't want to speak on behalf of Ellen in any meeting, but yeah, she certainly seemed interested in discussing it, and she and I have discussed continuing education and going out with this gentleman's like, yes.
Right, and the board will have to make that decision, ultimately, because we have to appropriate the funds. But-
right.
Well, that's great, but are there any
Concerns or worries?
Well, I just wonder if, I don't know, Stockings or somebody else might say, hey, why won't we ask?
Well, you know what? It's a good question, Paul. But the reality is we have tried to connect with him probably
Okay. well,
10 times just to have him. He came once to a meeting, which
Yep.
was great. But seems to be just up to his
Yeah,
eyeballs.
he's buried in business, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
good question though.
And this person seemed to see value add to his own business to do this and to help explain how the systems work. So there's a mutual benefit there.
Yeah.
As opposed to what, I know that Stocking has the bandwidth to devote to the kind of effort that this proposal represents.
So I would like to move it. Is there go to now to the Village of Cooperstown board. But as WSC, that we support this and consider it not. Consider it critical to being as sophisticated as we can on inspections.
I have a question.
Okay,
Is there some documentation of his training, and his knowledge base that we can depend on? I didn't see anything.
I mean, I'm sure I could get you information on his background. This is essentially.
I mean, he's got a lot of experience, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, if somebody came back and said, well, something's going wrong now, and where did you get this guy to tell you this is right or wrong?
he's certified though, right? He said he was certified.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Some sort of CV or resume would be warranted, I think. You know, just list the certification or certification number, who issued it.
Yeah, I think that makes.
We're both sure
Take
the
up
case.
to the state.
Yeah, and remember, we are not necessarily using this to gain a credential. This was really to get some practical
Yeah.
experience. I mean, our official here is, under our statute, is Jacob. So, this is a way to learn in a very, field-oriented manner with it. And in our interview with him, I'm not gainsaying the idea of getting some, more of his resume, but it was a very, I think, valuable and informative discussion, what he presented, how he presented it to us when we had our meeting with him. So, I mean, this did not appear at all to me insubstantial, but this, what he can offer us.
And I probably talked to him about maybe an hour or two prior to that, just during that inspection with my call. I tend to be interested whenever I feel like somebody is above me in something, particularly with something that I'm working in, and I very much got that impression from him. So again, he is very much focused on a particular brand of product, it's the Cookie Clean products, but I mean, they're literally testing the stuff from Japan that is not approved for sale here yet, so they're part of literally commissioning stuff We had a lengthy conversation about how, Japan is several generations ahead of us in terms of this treatment. I got the same impression as you did during the conversation. He seemed genuinely interested in providing us an unbiased yet informed opinion on how to do this stuff. And again, when you talk about engaging with the homeowners, I'm not used to being so limited in my knowledge when I go up to do something in a field. So I'm eager to gain more so that we can show the homeowners that they're getting more bang for their buck, that they're getting solid inspection, solid.
Yeah, I
Procedures.
I think the point is well taken. Due diligence is important. You can't just take people's feeling for it. So I think I'll modify my motion, assuming we get a document from him that clearly outlines his experience. I'd like to move that we support it to the village of Cookie Town.
But that doesn't give us an opportunity to evaluate that experience as documented.
Right,
Is
this
it
is-
necessary that we get this done this time or
Yes.
wait till we?
Well,
Next
it's
week.
important, excuse me. It's important to understand that this arrangement is an hourly, scheme. We're not committed.
Yeah.
If this comes proper in a week or two, we're done with it. So there's a lot of room for, disengagement if.
We're not
if-
hiring
that. But my metric in all of this is that if Jake sees value in it, that's a big plus, because you're the public facing part of this. And the technical, important part of this too, so. I
So-
give recommendations.
Yeah, and so we'll get that document and send it to the members as soon as we can, hopefully by in the next couple of days. So it's not gonna be like it's gonna wait for weeks or anything, but.
And I will be out of town half of Thursday, all of Friday
Oh.
weekend.
Okay,
But I will CC you on a message and ask him to make sure any response he sends back to you.
Well,
all right, I'll send
and
it.
I don't know if we voted on the motion yet,
No.
but your addendum. Do we need that to get started? Not that we won't. If we don't get a satisfactory resume and we don't get a satisfactory output for our $87 an hour, we can stop it. But I'd rather, it's August, I'd like to get, if everybody's comfortable with it, get the recommendation to the board of trustees. So that it can be acted on one way or the other on Monday night.
I'm lining up a lot of inspections right now for September and even into early October. So I don't see this as a method just to help me get through numbers, but I would greatly prefer to get some additional training while doing some of these, looking at actual systems and learning for at least covering here.
All
And
right,
I trust your judgment, so that's the other thing.
Mhm.
If we're skeptical of that, then maybe we wouldn't do it.
I think it's a short-term idea, it's great.
and it's a good question by you.
Well, I don't expect that, it's gonna have some university degree or something for this. I expect it's probably from the companies that sell the equipment that
Yeah.
he's using. I just think that we should just say that we knew what it was, and
You're right.
there's only so much you can get. This isn't rocket science,
Right.
in the sense of, and I'm not trying to downgrade it at all. It's a very important process, but I just think we should just know. And-
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I would accept almost anything, that his mother taught on it to be, I'm sorry, but, I just think we should just say what it
It's
is.
a great point,
Yeah.
I'm happy to reach
Yeah.
out.
Is there a website too that we could just refer to as well?
Well, I'm checking it, but I don't see anything specific about like which system they're trained in or things like that.
Okay.
Well,
All
I
right.
have Fuji clean on there, and that's most of what I've discussed with him.
So there's a motion on the table, with a modifier. Do I have a second?
Well, what was it that we need? We need the modifier or do we?
No, I just said that the motion is that we recommend to the village board of trustees that we go ahead with this process in order to be more sophisticated in our knowledge around septic systems. And that we make sure that we've got appropriate certification.
Okay, so the key is for a decision by Monday night, you have to have the something that Bill is talking about.
Yeah, and Jay.
And Jay, you think you can turn that around? That's,
I think so. They've been very quick with the responses.
okay, then I'll second the motion.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, so it's unanimous. All right, good. It's very exciting. The way I look at this, which may be, which I've told a couple of you already. But the septic inspection sophisticated process is our BMP. We have legal authority to do this, and we need to be more sophisticated in it, both in the record reporting of it, but also in what the decisions we make going forward. So it's our BMP, and we need to be vigilant on all of it. Okay, let's see. I think we're on quick updates. I don't think we have an update on the launch schedule. Think you and I, yeah, that's it. That's all. You'll see next year.
I think so.
Yeah, and the lake level monitors with Matt, nothing from the professor yet. Is he still hopeful, Matt?
That is cynical.
Yeah.
I think we know this.
I think it's true. We do know that. Alzmere update, Bill, thank you so much for sending that. We sent it around via email.
I rewrote it because I left some things out and I didn't, I made some grammatical errors and other things, so there's a copy out there. But basically, the owner has lived there for like 60 or 70 years. I mean, that place was apparently a steamboat landing for a long time. And he was pretty supportive of about having a cleaning facility that we were talking about getting in the town of Springfield. He did think that it would have been a better idea to put it up where the town buildings are, that there's more room up there and it would be easier to get in and out of. But I think we would miss the people that are coming for the day, drop the boat in, go fishing, take the boat out and go wherever they go after that. So I said we can talk with them about it and see what Paul thinks about it. But I thought it was just something.
I don't see that there's a weight pushing it one way or the other. The town of Springfield wants to put it at the community center. I see a lot of advantages to that, but it's a bit of a truck for somebody who goes to one launch site or the other and then has to go back to the town office building.
I think he sort of thought of his telling people that are coming to drop a boat, you could just run down there and get it taken care of and come right back.
And what we talked about with the pads and binding of the boat to the trailer would work. So that when they showed up at Ellesmere, Bayside, or Springfield Landing, they can know that the boat properly launched.
So I'll talk to Alan and Henry about it.
Springfield, by the way, took possession of the kiddie pool and the recirculating pump.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so
That's not the part I was concerned about. Like,
but you'll go back and talk to him about the other stuff.
the wake boat part was a really
Yeah.
interesting conversation, and we
Can I, before we go to that, can we get back on bubbers for a second? There was, we're going to discuss,
yes.
Later, yeah, we're on I'll see you.
oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, he basically, you got talking about surf boats, wake surfing boats rather, and he immediately got on this tirade about how the lake level going up has changed the shoreline, and that the shorelines are so much more vulnerable because they're not the shorelines that the glacier carved out, and which there is some truth to that, I think. But I think that it will take another conversation or more to get me thinking more about the
Yeah.
wake surfing boats. The other thing that he has, he feels that the water clarity has a lot to do with something that happened when they changed the pipe in to the.
I'm looking at Paul.
To the village's water supply, and it never got fixed right, and that is responsible for a lot of the mess that he's very unhappy about, which I didn't know exactly how to respond to him, because I don't know anything about that, anything happened to that back, I think it's talking about maybe 30 years ago or more, or
Oh, longer than that, and it's hard to reconcile his contention with the science as we know it.
Oh, the science,
That's a perfect way to say
There
it.
you go.
Science.
science, all right,
I mean, is there a legitimate concern about the?
no.
Okay.
But thanks for talking to him, I appreciate it, you all got the report, and there's another copy of it up there.
Yeah.
I think for the Mingo, Jacob, I'm gonna ask if you'll call the owner instead of me, since you've already talked to them about whether they're launching or not. Do you be open to that, or?
Sure.
Then wasn't that on Matt's list to talk to Sam Smith?
Yes, but he said he tried a couple times and couldn't get through, so
Yeah.
I took it on.
Oh,
And I'm happy to
good.
do it, but if you've already had or did you talk to Mike Moffett? Who's the owner?
So I believe I was talking to the ownership family in general.
The family in
A
general.
younger gentleman.
Good, no,
So I
perfect,
assume he's not dealt with it.
Yeah, yeah.
He was very, so I can, yeah, I can.
all right,
Again.
Can we return to the shoreline issue that was brought up?
Yeah.
The statement or the belief is that the dam that elevated the lake level artificially created erosion where in nature all of that had happened over geologic time, so we've really made an impact on the integrity of the shoreline by raising the dam. At the same time, we've got people who are complaining that the lake level is too low. And we don't have a dam in place to keep it elevated. But in terms of a natural outcome. Is it worth speculating about whether it would mean not to have a dam there? And if we had to have a continuous flow opportunity to dilute our wastewater treatment effluent, would that be done through discharge of our intake pipe?
I can think of all sorts of reasons to not continue with the dam, but there's one major reason that says if we have to, and that's it, it overrides the rest of them. You gotta have the wastewater treatment plant working, we've gotta be able to flush it, gotta be able to dilute it, that's it.
But
It's a waste of time
reason
to,
1 through 10.
But if you put a Y fitting on your intake line and had a line that would flush directly into the river, with what do they want, whatever the 100 CFS minimum requirement or whatever it is, or whatever time, is that physically able to be managed in the absence of a dam?
I mean, engineering wise, yes, it is, but what happens when there is little precipitation? Naturally, the lake is going to be much lower, right? And then we need to keep withdrawing water for diluting the septic outflow. So then the water level could be really, really low, which could still be in line with pre-dam construction. But I think people with docks and boats will be very, very, very unhappy.
No, I get that, it's almost and the way to get the water to flushing would be but through our intake line. We just put a fitting on it that would either direct water into the wastewater treatment plant or release into the river if you need flushing flows, and that would come from 35 people on the lake surface, right? Because
Yeah,
go by natural flow.
for the dilution, the water quality doesn't really matter, for the intake, for the drinking water, yes, we would like to avoid the epilumnia on the warm water.
Well, I mean, it goes to show you what a complicated ecology we have here and this artificial presence of the dam both helps and hurts that situation.
Yeah, we say if there wasn't a dam, you'd lower the thermal point by that many feet, right?
Right,
That's right.
So you'd have to
so we'll
extend.
be sucking in warm water, yeah. Yeah, and just the expense of running that pump, when you gotta run the pump, the water out of the lake, to root all the wastewater. That-
So many bad ideas associated with this.
But you might get a bike lane around the lake, because you know. Beach.
You can travel there, not to the lake and the state goes to
Okay.
know you know.
Great
Are we
ideas.
talking about the same thing?
Moving on.
That's right.
Just be island.
Yeah.
I mean, the other alternative is you move the outflow for the wastewater treatment plant all the way down the river to Oaks Creek, confluent. Let Oaks Creek dilute it, but that's gonna cost you a few $1,000,000 as well.
We're gonna just move on. But good conversation. Okay, the budget memo to the towns, has there been any conversation at the towns? Jeff is not here today, he had another situation he had to take care of. Any, I guess that would be Paul and Bill, any conversation? I know Springfield has said no money.
No, I briefed the town board last Wednesday over in Otsego, and the feedback I had was positive, but there was no
Decision.
motion.
Okay.
Last Wednesday.
Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that. I want to just talk about the public meeting for a second. So it's September 15th from 6 to 8. BFS is going to an international conference for biological field stations, which they really shouldn't miss. So I need all other scientists, she said meaningfully, around the table. Paul
Yeah, I'll be there.
and Kyoko and Crystal said with him there. I'm sure you're gonna be there.
No, there's a very high chance that for September 15th. I'll either be out of the states, and if not, out of the country for a week.
Okay. Very, okay. Thank you.
So.
Everybody else. knows.
Somebody,
What?
could somebody else?
Rhea come?
Yeah.
I'll see.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Rhea would be great. He's the only other one I know.
I'll see.
You see, thanks. And then, so Paul, you'll be you have to talk about, if the wake road issue comes up, we'll have you and Kyoko and Jacob speak to that. Okay, anything else about that meeting that you need to talk about? No, we're preparing the overheads, we've got the place secured, we've got a notice to the paper went out, I'm thinking.
Yes, I believe so. No, I don't think there's anything we can
Okay.
cover right now.
Okay. SRBC sites, Kyoko, how are we doing with that?
Haven't heard nothing since then, so I assume that they have some paperwork to do for purchasing of the sensors at the SRBC. I will ping them, but because it's the starting of the fall semester, I am not in a hurry to get them to come out here.
Yeah, just let us know what they say, so they don't forget about it. And Kyoko, you attended a roundtable in Albany. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so that was a roundtable that was hosted by Senator Harkin, who is the chair of the Environmental Conservation Committee. And it was co-organized by Adirondack Council. So they had about 30 people around the table from different organizations, Lake Association, like the Sierra Club, and some other NGOs, etc. And we had a lot in common, like the grant applications are very difficult. Administration is even bigger problem. DEC is doing great jobs, but there are certain areas that is not working well. So I think it was a good opportunity for the lake community leaders to inform the legislature directly instead of going through the DEC filter necessarily. So we'll see how.
You felt it was
goes.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for representing everyone there. Any update on the regulatory stuff? I know that Springfield, I sent the update from Springfield to all of you. They
When we talked to the town of Otsego board, we also talked about the wake zone issue, and they seemed inclined to fall in line with Middlefield.
Looks like Middlefield and Otsego may have the same approach. Springfield, you saw the document. They went with a wake zone of, I don't know, 115.5 feet or something, I'm not sure. I sent that to you, y'all got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as Joe keeps reminding me, everybody is doing something. So I think that's a good thing. I think the advocacy helped. I think understanding the science helped. And I think that is a formula for us going forward. Springfield is not interested in the lawyer meeting. Otsego was interested in it. Middlefield seems interested. Should we go ahead without Springfield and have 3 municipalities meet?
Well, I'm just thinking. If there's a political answer to that and a legal answer to that, we want to inform ourselves better legally, and collaborate on that. That's a good idea, but if we start marginalizing one entity or the other, I think that's good.
Yeah.
It's not good for our team. We're inching towards a lot of this stuff as it is, so the time as we finish our plan, as we have these public meetings, the idea of doing this kind of meeting may become more meaningful and palatable, so.
Okay.
I think Springfield's problem is more to do with wakeboarding than it is with other approaches, like if you're going to talk about blogging or some other topic that isn't quite so hot, something like interpersonal thing. I mean, Galen has got some people that have his ear that he doesn't want to talk about. Clearly, he does. And I think that I don't think that they want to be completely isolated, except on this issue. And I think we should continue. I mean, I'll continue to make it to them anyway, but. And Henry is much more open for this, and I don't totally understand how things come to the board, and how I've never heard a discussion at the meetings of the board members, agreeing or disagreeing on anything that was going to put through. It doesn't seem to be a lot of other people being involved in this. And I think Henry had pretty much written all the stuff that's in the town of Springfield for the last, I don't know how many years.
Bill, do you think it's fair to say there's a formal and informal process in the town about how things get done? I tell you, I've heard.
Yeah, I think that's true, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've heard. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't come out of meetings, what our conversation, a lot of influence.
Well, I mean, they all the time, they decide on, sort of by themselves, like where they're gonna spend their money, like on, do we need a new snowplow? Do we need, get, hold up that buildings at Springfield Landing that's falling, it's literally sliding into the lake. And those things just seem to get done without any formal talk about it. It's a little bit odd. I thought that there, so.
Well, is this, maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but is this legal issue or a collaboration issue something that should or could wait
Yes.
until we finish our plan? I
Yes.
mean, we're, all of these, as our meeting last night showed, there are a lot of moving parts we're trying to, or parts we're trying to assemble to make something move. And it just may be, again, when that's all laid out and it's been approved, we have a much more compelling case for jumping into.
Can I ask you-
legal issues.
Does anyone know the status of state regulation? Because we're trying to herd a bunch of cats, get them all think the same way. You know, the idea of getting all these municipalities, or look at some of the Finger Lakes with 22 municipalities. They're never going to agree. I mean, you would think this would be a place, the state law is going to preempt local law. Is anybody, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's what, the Adirondack representatives were. Telling the senator at the round table that we need some sort of state level regulation for wake boats. You know, Vermont and other lake, you know, the states are starting to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Vermont has, I don't even know how many
And
municipalities, and they passed a law.
You know,
DEC for the last, 4 years, since the very first week folks showed up, is just plain not to do.
and I think we have to recognize that home rule is a cherished status. And it was put to good environmental protective use with the fracking matter, for example. So we're not, in doing this 90 plan, I don't think anything is gonna come from that 90 plan that preempts any home rule.
Yeah.
These are all gonna be ideas and actions that are organic to a decision-making process by each municipality, and what we're trying to do is be collaborative. And the last thing I would just say is, in other areas, those municipalities have banded together to create a taxing district or, and I don't know that we're there yet, or even if you want to propose anything like that. I think we're evolving, and we'll take the shape of our container on that, I think.
Yeah. The last meeting we had a discussion about would it be useful to get the lawyers together so that there would be a consistent view. So that's what we.
And Galen in Springfield, I mean, obviously that's Ego's still dragging his feet, but it looks like you're gonna fall in line on.
Yeah.
Middlefields, but Galen has said that he will look at modification.
Next year.
I believe the term he used was the winter.
Okay.
Okay, and I think that gives us an opportunity there. If we look at, okay, this is the first year, we've all done this. We're looking at all these laws. We think every one of them could be tweaked to make it just a little bit better. Yeah,
Yeah, so there's room, there's room. for
there
this to grow.
is, but I don't think we should be pushing now. I think we should wait until the frost shows up.
Good, I agree. That's good.
That's wise, agreed, and I do think that he's looking for some type of alternate way of making it as low an impact as possible without completely excluding it. But the issue about invasive species is another one. I mean, that's a completely different deal. But in terms of just the use of the boat on the lake is, I think, can be handled with wake restrictions on,
Yeah.
particularly in the north end of the lake, it's so shallow.
And he's frustrated by jet skiers buzzing the beach.
Well, I think if we go back to this, we gotta go back to the science. Science is gonna drive policy. That's what we decided. The scientists are telling us that unless they are kept on this lake exclusively, which almost none of them are. That we have a problem. So I think we've got to be careful here. How and when we compromise. We just have to follow the science. So anyway, that will emerge, I think. Peaking the line, is that process done? You done?
Yes, Tommy, look over the plan, said he's gonna write up a protocol for plant side of things that would then be flanched up with something, your timetable in the bidding process, so that there'll be a tick-tock on both sides, and they'll know that to open up the manhole is gonna take X minutes or hours. What's gonna take to reverse the pumps, all of that will have a time frame associated with it, so that your time frames then can slot in, so that at that magic moment when they're ready to launch, you've already opened up the line and so on. So that that has been, it will be prepared. We'll get it done. We're under the consensus, I think, that every 2 years is an adequate pigging schedule for now. Again, science will tell us otherwise, but that's where I think we are. So we've got this interval to get the protocol right. And I think having Dennis Elliott, who ran the plant for so many years, helped with the putting of that together, and just having a desk manual there so everybody can just go to it and not have to make phone calls and test people's memories is a good idea for the village and a good idea for Mike.
Paul, how do you feel about that process?
I still would recommend that the potassium permanganate be turned on at least once a year for a period of a week or so.
Okay, I mean, I think that, and you've discussed that with water plant?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I haven't been down there, but I've conveyed that to you a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was focusing on, if I dropped that stitch, I apologize. I was
Oh,
focusing on the
The
picture.
timing, I think we could talk about forever.
Okay,
We won't know till we see the results of the
but
trial.
that process of that additive being done or, introduced into the system, send me an email with exactly what you
Okay.
have in mind.
Okay, yep.
Jake and I will look at it
Yep.
and we'll get it to Tom and talk about it.
all right.
And we'll push it through our water and sewer, we'll review it through our water and sewer committee, board, rather.
Would it make any sense for Paul to come to the next meeting to explain?
If we've got it in hand, yeah, I mean, sure. Or I can, but if we need more, I don't want to take up your time, I can try to explain things and have a discussion and get a bit of a sense of whether there are issues or not, and then report to you, and then we can have a more.
Yeah, I have no idea what inside the plant they need to do to change this. I'm just looking at what's coming out the pipe and saying, hey, we've got 2 different disinfectants. One of them is very specific for the mussels. That's fine, but we've got a bunch of other stuff that's growing, and I'm not so sure that the Earth Tech is reaching the corners around the joints, given the number of mussels that come out. So
You
once a
have
week,
said that.
And you think that,
once a year, we just burn through it with the potassium permanganate.
and
So that's
all right.
once a year, yeah, so. Okay, thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Boys, Paul, any issues? with
I have an interesting anecdote to share with everybody.
Oh, good.
We brought that buoy up from 87 feet a couple of weeks ago and never expected it. And it didn't light up. It was down on the beach. We took it to the OLA meeting. And then when we came back, we left it up in the parking lot. I was at the boathouse about a week ago now. And the neighbors came over and said, "Here's a light flashing in our bedroom window every night. Where the hell's it coming from?"
Well, stop making a wick.
So I took my hat off and put it over the top of the light for that night, came back the next morning and we took the buoy light off. A year underwater. It's
Wow.
Fire right
a
back.
solar charger charged, it's kicking off again.
All right. It's good
And
news.
that's good news, that's $120, right? Another one of those lights, yeah.
Today at the Community Foundation Lake Fund meeting, which was really a good meeting. 2 of the interns, Florian had 2 of the interns come and tell them what the work they had done since Community Foundation Lake Fund had supported it. But I'm thinking that work that they did, so the tributary work they did, right? Should that be in our work? I mean, they did that work. Should that be in the 90 plan? What they found?
I thought the same thing, it's, supervised by a professional, yeah, I would think that ought to be some part of it.
And maybe other stuff they're doing, shouldn't that be part of our scientific work that's been done?
Well, a lot of the, the overarching statements that we make, that we provide to Wendy about Otsego Lake, a lot of that comes from these kinds of projects over many years.
Okay,
So in a sense, it is,
it is, okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
but there are parts where, because it's not here literature, we have to be careful too.
Yes,
Yeah.
understood. Now, so what did she find or they find from the tributary book, which is any
I
bottom line here?
just the same as last, I mean, I'd have to go
Okay.
back and check it, as you know, I've been overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing real surprising there.
Okay.
The interesting stuff about the plankton migrating. You know, that is something we talked about at the open house and.
Okay.
Patients.
Okay. All right, thanks. I just
Yeah.
was thinking, gee, that's real science work we should have in there, but I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, let's just talk about the 90 plan and we'll come back to the fireworks. So the first 3 chapters were submitted, Jacob, do you think, to the state?
Yes, they have them right now, interview.
Okay, so that's a milestone. BMP prioritizations are going really well. I know that regulatory finished last night.
Yep, 9:15.
So I think, have all of them been, are we still waiting for any group to prioritize?
No, I don't think we're waiting for any group, and I don't think there's any more real time in that, but again, so people understand that it's not like this is we're done, it's stamped, you can never modify these, but in terms of what we're presenting, yes.
All right, so when we go to the public meeting, we'll present the prioritization so far done by the sort of experts, if you will, and then the public will react and tell us how we might modify or what their view is.
Yes, so based on our discussion, it will indicate the prioritization that we've come up with. There will also be like an indication that they can indicate with just like a sticker or something, what they think is important, and there'll be space for comment as well.
Okay, so we meet the state requirement by doing that. All right. So the sustainability group could begin right after the public meeting, I'm thinking. The sustainability team who's gonna need to figure out how we start to plan the implementation.
I would think all the groups are gonna go back and chew on what the feedback we received.
Right, but we're waiting for the prioritization to be complete before we meet. So maybe I should wait until after September.
Sure, we can discuss, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no point in waiting on anything, so,
Okay.
you know,
All right, because to me, that's the big work is making sure the BMPs are understood, organized, and I know that they're part of what we submit, but there's nothing stopping us from implementing some of that before the 90.
yes.
So, all right. Let's see, WQCC, any, well, they're focused. Well, have they met? You don't know.
Yes, they did meet a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago,
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I was there.
Okay. Anything with the committees that we need to bring up? It looks like everybody's met. Wetland group is doing what you want them to do, Jacob?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The wetland group, are they doing what you need to have them do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. No, so everyone's done their work and we're all set. Everything's good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, let me go back quickly to 2 issues that got brought up. One is fireworks and one is a Japanese knotweed. I don't know what we decided about Japanese knotweed.
I was just in Japan looking for it and I couldn't find it.
I'll hear of it.
Weren't looking in the right space.
It's not the big package.
There are programs,
Also serious.
there are programs to remove the Japanese knotweed. I know that we're starting to finally dip our toes in herbicide application related programs. Just be aware by the very fact that it's gonna be in or very near the watershed, it's gonna require some extra permitting. But I know that we have we've begun to work on some properties that specifically target the removal of Japanese knotweed, along with some riparian buffer plantings as well.
Hallelujah. So I'll let Doug Willies know. He's very concerned.
Yeah, there is one patch that we looked at right by Lakeview.
Lake
Hotel.
Hotel,
Yeah, and it's just one section, but it's full of it. And
Is that section on your list? You know.
I would say I don't think so, but don't hold my word, don't hold it.
Can you
Just south of the Lakeview dock, and it's
So we can get it to.
big and thick.
Yeah.
It's a monument.
My recommendation would be is that for something like that, it would probably require like some form of a herbicide removal and then some form of a planting.
Yeah.
So whatever new is established just dominates over and reduces any potential of not.
And it's private property, nobody's talked to the landowner. Gotta
So.
cart before a horse here.
I mean, we kind of passed over the idea of herbicides, is that? In getting a permit, okay, but what does a permit get us in terms of lake ecology protection?
It basically tells you that the person who's gonna apply for it, number one, knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of important for this situation, and number two. Applies it in such a way that any chemical exposure of the local life is reduced to the best of its ability. You'll never 100% get away with it, but if you can do it with the least possible exposure, then you kind of balance it out. Like, you're still gonna get stuff in the water body, but you got Japanese knotweed, you have an invasive species that really doesn't help much with anything. And you get that out of the way, and then you prevent its reestablishment, which is what we're all kind of sort of wanting
So
to do.
it's a balance.
It's a balance, it's yeah, you're not gonna 100% win, but you're not gonna 100% lose, because it's physically speaking, it's almost impossible to remove it like by just pulling.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
Yeah, and it's for the knotweed, it's properly done, it is going to be injected into the woody structure, it's no broadcast.
I see.
And because right now it's such a monoculture, just knotweed all over, it is more effective to just cut it close to the ground and inject the chemical to all of the, cross section at once, because we do not want to miss anything, and that one would spread again.
Also, because you're never gonna 100% get them all, the idea is that you plant it with something native, so whatever little is. Tries to come back, eventually just gets choked out by the new plant or new growth.
Kind of a surgical approach.
Yes.
Yeah, very surgical.
So is this plant a bamboo kind of like structure?
No, it's not hollow, it is solid inside,
The stems are hollow, not the rhizomes underneath the ground.
No, that's what I'm asking, yeah, so I think I've seen it, I'm just.
Oh, once you are able to identify it, it's almost impossible to not to see it.
Is there some of that growing down by grasslands at Jane Clark's barn there on 28? There's always a patch that grows up and then it looks like it's been defoliated with some chemical, you'll
I
see it.
don't know.
It's right on the slope next.
Well, knotweed is very sensitive to frost, so in the beginning of the season, oftentimes we get knotweed 2 feet tall, and then it just collapses because it got hard frost. Very sensitive to frost.
It's like a tree of heaven, once you're able to identify it, and you just cannot not see it.
Routine, when we sat with DOT last year to, for them to address the concerns about spraying and, their mowing practices. I believe, I don't remember exactly, they said they did not use glyphosate. But they did use something else.
Yeah.
On the knotweed, and I don't remember what it was, but they were trying something else out.
I think knotweed is resistant to glyphosate, if my memory, because glyphosate is a photosynthetic inhibitor, if my memory serves me correctly.
yeah, it's, I think it's oxygen, so basically it interferes with growth in a,
It was a different chemical.
but, yeah, they
I can't
have.
remember the name of it, but you're right, there was a.
So is that Roundup, that chemical name?
So for the
Roundup is
knotweed,
like-
Yeah, Roundup is just the
glyphosate,
formal name of the company name of glyphosate.
Okay, well, this is good news. I'll make sure that Doug knows so that'll make him feel better about this.
It's an awesome inhibitor.
It's only good news when it's off to the landowner.
Yeah, so,
Again, I just.
just give me a positive minute here, Paul.
Anyways,
I didn't know what it was, so I just looked it up.
Yeah.
It just says edible spring shoots are consumed as a tart rhubarb-like vegetable.
Oh, it's very good. Pickle.
Pickle.
Oh,
Listen.
great
So we
pickle.
get people to eat
Great
it.
pickle.
Listen, if we were to,
Millionaire.
let me put it to you this way, if we were able to advertise dandelions as edible, we wouldn't have had all these lawn issues and it's, so anyways.
You get a question.
The biggest trouble with making pickles from Japanese knotweed is you're always afraid that somebody's treated it.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Christmas.
I have to,
Go.
yes, unless
Okay,
there's
so
anything.
tell us about the grants, anything there?
Grants. I'm probably gonna hear about the 3 that we put in and probably in like late 26, early 27. Springfield, that subset is probably like 95% done. So there's only like the flooring area to be done and we're gonna pay that out to the town of Springfield and we're
It's
gonna.
90%?
Probably about 95. So basically, long story short, the thing is up. The only thing that's left to do is to pave the bottom floor of it. And once that is done, and once I get both the hours and all the concrete stuff in, we're gonna do we're gonna bill it out and we're gonna basically reimburse the town of Springfield. We're gonna close that grant.
Well, that is wonderful, Christos. Can we just have a round of applause?
Wait.
He just doesn't like the news.
No,
You-
until I get the final letter, nothing's done. That's how,
Oh, okay.
so the grant is not closed until you get the department's final letter saying congratulations, the grant's closed.
Okay, it ain't over till it's over.
Exactly.
What are your applause?
All right, so the other 3 grants though, end of 26, early 27.
I would believe so, yes.
Thank you, Christos.
Anyways.
Appreciate your good work.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
And I think the only other thing is the fireworks thing. So recall we had a conversation at the last meeting about the study. Jacob and Joe had done an analysis. There were 2 things that they talked about in the study. One was the perchlorate. Am I saying that right?
Perchlorate.
Perchlorate. And the other was, they do suggest, this is from Jacob's note, they do suggest moving forward with a registration system which would allow them to track the number and timing of fireworks. So I thought we had decided that when people apply for a permit to do it, that we would ask if they use it in their fireworks, just a question. And on the form, but I'm thinking, I think Jacob and Joe were rethinking it.
Well, my only thought about this, and maybe for the first time, is that I don't know if we need to go through the permitting system. We have one operator, who's a perennial, vendor who sets these things off. Why not have a conversation with the vendor?
Oh, great.
And see what product alternatives they have. See what kind of a menu could be created, so at every time we're not coming up with the same thing, see what they say the industry is doing around that topic, and instead of just being,
Lasers are catching up.
And
Gary,
we'll
you had
have
a
new
question?
data centers that can really program, and be spectacular. That was a joke.
No joking. No joking. Gary, you had a question.
Anyway, for the plant or not meet.
Yeah.
That conversation, I'm just wondering if just the Roundup or some kind of chemical is gonna go in and kill off the roots that are in the soil at the bottom where it emerges from. Instead of doing anything like that after it's been mowed, could it be a blanket that's laid over that weeded to smother it? And completely eliminate it without any chemicals?
It takes 2 years and the rhizomes try to sneak out the sides.
So we would have to pay attention and wait for.
Yeah,
that
you have to
happen.
keep
Yeah,
going
so-
back.
Done though.
The plant tries to grow up under the rhizomes, you gotta keep, you
Watching.
gotta keep fussing with the.
But Soil and Water is going ahead with their plan. It's not up for debate, is what I would say. They have a plan, they're gonna go in and inject, so that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as they probably experimented in the swimming pool, put the seeds in and then they put chemicals on it and washed it over a period of 2 years.
Probably,
And seen all of that stuff rather than just put a blanket over it and wait and be,
yeah,
not do any of that chemical stuff.
yeah.
There's been a lot of work, a lot of research done on Japanese knotweed mitigation, at a bigger scale than locally, so. There's no easy answer, it's brutal.
It's a mess no matter how you take it out.
Yeah.
Good question, good question. Okay, so we're gonna talk to, who's gonna talk to the fireworks person?
It's a good question.
I can, I mean, you know, again, this would be a fall plan, but right.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
oh, yeah, no, there's no.
But yeah, no, and I did talk to Jenna about it, and she had the same opinion that one of you just said, that it's largely one vendor.
Okay.
Everything that's done locally is one vendor. So
Okay.
I think and I think beyond the two chemicals that are noted in there, like, to me, it's like, it is an emerging contaminant issue. Like, I read through the studies. I didn't have a ton of concern about the perchlorate just because it seems like it breaks down. Although I also read that there are, it sort of described them as perhaps mildly less dramatic, but there are a variety of non-perchlorate fireworks that you can get, so that's also an option. But obviously, there's a whole laundry list of chemicals that are in these things.
Yeah.
And there might be something we know about in 5 or 10 years is an issue that we didn't really know about now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
follow the Lake George model, why not just keep track of what's being done? If we're not planning on doing any further, why not at least get a sense of what we have
Great,
occurring here?
perfect. Bill, what's the perchlorate effect on humans?
I don't think it's good for you.
Hasn't it been shown to inspire tumors in the thyroid?
I honestly don't remember that specifically. I
Okay.
just don't recall.
Okay,
Thyroid, yeah.
thyroid, right? I think
It
it's,
sounds like it would, but,
so I think there has been research. Is that what you're looking at? Yoko?
Yeah, so CDC says that perchlorate has been shown to partially inhibit the thyroid's uptake of iodine.
So that would be a problem. Yeah,
so there's more just hypothyroidism,
right.
which is pretty easily treated.
So I mean, you know, good that we're gonna find out.
And it does sound like there's at least the potential. I mean, who knows what occurs at the federal level these days, but there's consideration right now for a national drinking water standard. And there are 2 state-based ones that exist now, so.
Right, yeah, that was encouraging, I thought. Okay, Bill passed this out, if you recall, he's been following a lot of stuff, but did you see the legal case from the Wisconsin? And there have been now 4 cases, Bill sent it to us, 4 cases where they have ruled in favor of the science, if you will. I sent that to Galen, I thought he might be interested in reading that. But I think it's an interesting piece of information for us all to have and keep track of, because at the Canandaigua Lake Association meeting, there was a fairly big presence of wake boat sellers, yes, vendors. And it got a little bit testy at that meeting. So Dr. Jastrzemski talked to me. I sent him that thing. Thank you for doing that, Bill. And told him that if he needed scientific backup, we would help.
And that's a shallow lake, so.
Yeah.
More of a
That would
concern.
not be the one I would pick out as the.
They did not know it was gonna happen, so I'm not sure how it turned out, but he's the president and so I sent him some information. I said our scientists would be more than happy to help me if we need to.
So, and at the Lake Association meeting, there was.
Well, here's what my husband said. He said, anybody who goes to the Lake Association, listens to Paul Lord, knows that there's a problem. I don't think there'd be any question. So I think that it was pretty clear from that meeting. That was a good meeting, I thought.
Yeah.
Really well done.
All didn't need a microphone.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I think we're getting good airtime at OLA and the Community Foundation for the Lake Fund. I think this is good for us to be out there talking to folks who can help. I did mention that grants are a problem, as well as grant writers, as well as money, having access to money other than the annual Lake Fund money. So we need to just keep that alive. So Bill, go ahead. You had gotten a couple of this.
Yeah, I had seen this and it, I thought was a very nice approach. The people in Warren County had put this together, and they thought it had a very good impact, and was the people that live there took it in stride. I think it makes a couple of important things. One is the difference between what they call bubblers and ice eaters. The ice eater has a propeller that it does a much wider area, and so that it's hard for, particularly in some of the places along our lake where everything is so jammed up, it would be hard to adequately run it to keep your dock clear and not have it pass on to your neighbors. If they wanted to have an approach to the lake for their kids to go ice skating or something, it really wouldn't be possible. As it opens up, right inside the de-icing 101, they've sort of drawn the two of them as being pretty similar, but on the back side, they explain how they're different, and that the one that bubbles and you sort of put the pipe out underneath your dock as it goes out has a much smaller footprint. The other thing that they've done, which isn't, I don't think it's mentioned in here, is that at least some of the places around in there have required that if you put something in that is going to keep the water from freezing, that you put a marker out on the ice that says danger, thin ice. And this was a person had lost a dog that way and was very active in trying to promote that. And I thought that was a particularly good idea. Of course, it's a little bit of a problem getting it out there once you've run so to say. But I'm sure there's ways to get around that.
Do we think that Lake George has been kind to us? In terms of, giving us information. I wonder if we could get this. I mean, this is just.
So I printed these on my printer. So this is on a very thin paper. You'd want to print it with paper that's tougher than this. But they said that we could use it just the way it is, or they had our permission and encouragement to use it. I thought it should be said that this is done with the permission and the support of Warren County, and still, probably get their 2 cents worth in there.
So.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do we have a baseline of information about the effects of de-icers on our lake? Do we have drone footage? Do we have a percentage of open water caused by these things? And do we have any consequential evidence of that? I know the East Shore had some damage reported, which is a serious thing, but how, for example, the village of Cooperstown and the lakefront and the country club. So that's a big swath of lake area that's got these things operating. What are we trying?
The biggest. Put the two of them together, that's hands down.
And so what adverse impacts are we contributing to? And what do we do? I mean, do you think following these tips, I think we have the propellers at the country club, and I think we have the propellers maybe in.
Yes, you have the ice eaters, yeah.
So we could have the perimeter of their impact is, I mean, I'd like an evaluation of that. Are we already, or with our current operation, are we causing unnecessarily more open water?
I would say the same thing to you that we said to all the homeowners: put a camera on it and control it. You come down in the morning, you take a look, assuming that night is the coldest part of the day, you take a look at what the ice looks like in the morning and you adjust. And you keep adjusting. You adjust time. If you have a machine that is variable, you adjust the force.
And we want ice-free docks because even the slightest movement of the ice sheet can crack up a dock. Is that the idea?
Everybody who uses them is doing it to keep ice from damaging infrastructure. Everybody has the same goal. That's why they use them. It might be boats, it might be docks, it might be seawalls, but it's infrastructure.
Right, and I can see in the situation where the village of Cooperstown keeps a floating dock in, which may be its own problem, is one thing, but people, in my experience, growing up elsewhere, people pull their docks in the winter time and let the lake be the lake.
Yeah, but because these things are so convenient, a lot of people stop pulling their docks.
Yeah,
So-
it's very interesting that I got trained in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, those things are plainly banned. Because it messes with the ice formation. It deprives ice fishers from safely going out. And also, if you have a cabin in northern Minnesota, you probably don't have electricity, or if there is one, there's no way to make sure that it doesn't stop. And then once the electricity stops, then it would, freeze anyway.
Right.
So people just do not use this kind of technology at all. But just like road salt, because New York State is kind of in between freezing and not freezing, they do a lot of things like salting instead of shoveling, or using the de-icers instead of pulling the docks, and that's a interesting challenge here.
And do we have data that shows with our existing operations on the lake? What?
Not data, but I'll tell you, having spent so much time driving up and down the lake, that last winter we had 3 homes, only 3, that were not controlling. Everybody else followed OLA's guidance and was managing their ice heaters on the west side. I didn't have an opportunity to, because it's so damn difficult to inspect what's going on at the waterfront on the east side.
Yeah.
So, and the outcome was?
I believe the outcome was much less damage this year. There was a little bit of damage at Peg's Point. When we did the lake cleanup last weekend, there was one aluminum boat that the property owner gifted to us to take away because it was totally destroyed, but that was it. And in the to be totally open about that, that aluminum boat was not in the water or on the water's edge. It was up, but the ice came slamming up there as it does and destroyed that boat.
Okay, scientifically, ecologically, given the level of use of de-icers now, is there a meaningful adverse impact on the ecology?
Well, there is no way to test it alone, because the water temperature is not the same every year. The air temperature is different, and we do not have like multiple lakes that are exactly the same, where we can have no de-icer versus many de-icers. But I do have some data from years ago that having the de-icer running keeps the cold air from cooling the water column all the way down. Whereas if there is ice cover, the bottom is more insulated. And the invasive species typically are the ones that are hardy, and they are more resilient to those temperature fluctuations. Whereas the native species in general, they need to have more predictable, stable habitat. So even from that little study, I could say that it's not good to have circulating de-icers, because that was effectively encouraging quota mussels to win over zebra.
Right, so, and the cover photo here is a robust dock. it's not about damaged ecology, right? So I mean, I just wonder what we do, how much our job is about lake infrastructure. I mean, people are responsible for their own property. I'm trying to see how these fit in a program for our committee to address this. I don't know. I'm genuinely puzzled. I can see what Kyoko was saying about the ecological part and how, yes, it's very hard to develop sufficient data sets to really figure out a specific remedy or program for this lake. But I think that's that's the most important thing.
I mean, I think what we've tried to do, you know, OLA has took the lead on this. What we tried to do is educate folks about how to use them responsibly. I mean, that's all we've ever done. I don't think we're looking to ban them.
Yeah. And I think this would be a perfect follow-up to the campaign that we had last year. And
Yeah.
OLA
So I'm thinking.
should take it on.
I'm thinking of having this at the public meeting.
Oh,
Sure, yeah.
definitely, but OLA is gonna reach more people than we're
Well,
gonna have.
no, I know, so we could do both, I think, we could do
Yeah.
both, but what I don't see in here, Paul, is what you just said about here's how you manage it safely. I don't see it in here.
You don't see what?
I don't see in
Oh,
here,
you don't
get up in the
see,
morning, check this, but you know, can we?
well, it's implied timing and,
Number
one
4.
size doesn't fit all. So if you put those two things together, that's how you're supposed to be managing it. You're supposed to be,
Doesn't say anything about a camera.
well, I'd say camera because most of our lakeshore properties are uninhabited in the wintertime. And that's the only way people can manage it is to look at it first and then to.
The
Okay.
only other comment I would
Just-
say about this is the title is a total loser as far as I'm concerned. It communicates nothing. Don't be alive. I was thinking there was a Habs battalion coming after me or something, but. So,
Well, why don't
don't be
we,
eating a lot. I don't.
why
I
don't we
mean,
call it common sense de-icer safety?
no, it is what it is. It's just interesting that.
No, we don't have to use this. We, you know, we can redo it. So for the public meeting and for OLA, who can help take this on and make sure it has everything in it?
So what do you want? You want brochures printed? I don't think we're gonna get into composition like Joe says. I don't think you want to copy. I think you want to use that and adapt. You want a picture about Seagull Lake, well, number one.
Yeah.
And maybe, a modified, but yeah, if there's printing, I'm not printing anymore, but, there'd be no problem. You want a couple $100 for printing at the village printer? Whatever, that's not a problem.
Okay,
Yeah, find out, let me know what you want. I'll work with Steven.
okay.
But the important thing is maybe, I wonder, you want a brochure or a one pager to hand out?
No, this is one page. It's one
It is
page.
one page, well, two sides.
It's one page.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a very useful thing to stick in your kitchen.
Fits in an envelope. I think that's the way they did it. They sent this out to everybody who had an address on the,
We can do it whatever way we want to do
but I
it.
mean, you can, that's why it's this way.
It is a mailer, yeah, I mean, you can put your address and stamp right there.
Yeah, well, important, number one is composition, design, right? So
Yeah.
it needs some work.
Yeah.
But will there be no problem with $200 for the pay?
Paul, would you?
But that's not likely to happen in time for the 15th, so.
Yeah.
We ought to have enough of these to hand out for the public meeting and then OLA can. Work on getting something put out.
The next
before
edition. That's practical.
So we would.
We could do an insert in our newsletter. Newsletter reaches 360 people.
Yeah, so that, we're gonna do that for the public meeting. I
Public
don't know.
meeting, just hand this out. This is valuable as it is. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's valuable.
All right, somebody would have to do it. I don't know who would do it. Would the village do it? Would they copy it for the public meeting?
Just let me know if there's a cost, what the cost is.
Okay. Okay. All right, I think that's it. Did we not? Is there anything that didn't get said? I hope you check the pending list to tell me what can come off or what isn't right on there. But otherwise, I think we're in good shape tonight. I don't think we need to talk about anything else unless I've missed something.
A good presentation today, Brittany.
Oh, thank you, Jim. That was
Yep.
Okay,
And you introduced Jake twice, that's good. A lot of people don't know we have a water.
okay. All right, if you turn off your microphone, so. Jacob. Jacob.
Yes, ma'am. Huh?
But.
Okay.
Because I